Hello everyone and welcome back to the Zombie Hall Gaming YouTube channel. I'm your host G and welcome to another video on the channel. I don't think I want to live in a world where I should make a video like this. You'd expect people to just be decent. But that's not the world that we live in, and today I wanted to talk on behalf of my people. So, for anybody who's new to the channel, I myself am Palestinian, and today I wanted to talk about Palestine because what is happening there is it's tragic, it's not good, it's a genocide against a huge group of people, it's ethnic cleansing. Gaza is being bombarded day by day, being destroyed by the Israeli occupation. And this is a video that I thought I'd make because I have to speak about this, and I encourage anybody who has their own platform to do the same thing. Just speak about this. Now, as we speak, Gaza is absolutely being destroyed, annihilated. They're trying to erase it from existence. They're trying to erase Palestine from the history books. We cannot let that happen. Now, if you are living under a rock, or if you don't know the history of the country, so Israel was established in 1948. Okay? Israelis, they are raised on this idea that before 1948 there were no people in the land. It was just a desert, is what they tell them in the schools, and they are raised to hate Palestinians, to abuse them. If they see them, they'd want to kill them, or anger builds up inside of them. And really, it's all about the Western people in power and them wanting oil and the good resources of the land, and it's a long and complicated history. I'm not gonna get too much into it today, but basically what happened was after the Holocaust, there was a lot of anti-Semitism and everything that happened was wrong. So the Germans in the early to mid-40s, they fled from Europe, and Palestinians welcomed them with open arms. They let them live with them, live amongst them. They gave them the peace that they deserved. And then came this man named Balfour. He's a British guy, and he came up with the idea of the promised land. He's not even the first person to speak of this. There was a man named Herzl, who he's the father of the Zionism ideology, the idea that the religion, which isn't true in Judaism, this is just made up, that there was this land promised to the Jews by God 300 years ago, and they're using it now as an excuse to kill a bunch of people. They say that we are animals, they say that we are not human, and honestly, as much as that sentence makes me angry, I cannot say the same thing about them. I cannot call them animals. What they are doing is wrong, but if I called them animals, then I'm just as bad as they are. We only fight in self-defense, okay? Now, I built this car to represent the flag as much as possible. The flag isn't available in the game, but yeah, we have to represent somehow. We have to stand against genocide. And the story is, I think it was May 13th, I'll confirm the date, 1948, a bunch of Jews from all over the world, they came armed with weapons provided by Western governments. They came with tanks, they came with a lot of things. and a lot of military equipment, and they destroyed villages, and they killed a lot of women, children, even men. They displaced Palestinian families. Among the people who were displaced were my own grandparents. Currently, there are 600,000 Palestinians in Lebanon alone, most of which live in refugee camps. Refugee camps in Lebanon are these towns, they're villages. The houses there don't have the base, so they're not really built too much into the ground. They're only like a couple of floors, and they are very crowded, and they are surrounded by military guarding the refugee camps. Palestinians in Lebanon don't have a lot of rights. We don't have a right to vote. We don't have a right to own property. We can't register a house under our own name. And Lebanese laws are a little bit racist. And like, if a Palestinian man married a Lebanese woman, your children are going to be registered as Palestinian. But if the opposite were true, if a Palestinian woman married a Lebanese man, then her kids will get a Lebanese ID and a right to vote and a right to own. And not just that, because the woman, the Palestinian woman, um, married a Lebanese man. Now she has a right of ownership and a right to vote. So, this is just a random example. So, all around the world, not every country lets us in. Everywhere we go, we are afraid of being kidnapped or arrested or whatever. We're not fully free to do whatever we want or live as human beings. We are lacking a lot of rights. And even in Lebanon, if I wanted to, for example, visit the border, I cannot do that. I have to get a special pass from the military base in order for them to let me visit one of the villages at the border. And yeah, this is what it's like in Lebanon. I don't know what it's like for Palestinians around the rest of the world. They are all over the planet because we were all displaced. All of our grandparents had to come to other countries and establish their life from square one, being completely poor. And the Palestinians that remain in the land, it's being stolen. Palestine isn't just Gaza and the West Bank, it's the entire land that the rest of the planet calls Israel, but I'm sorry, it isn't real, it's fake. And if you are siding with Israel, well, let me tell you a small fact. Israel is telling you what they want you to believe is the truth, while the people, the Palestinians that remain on the land, are showing you the truth. They're showing you the brutality of the settlers, the military, all of the destruction happening. And me being in Lebanon, there's a sort of a war that has been going on for the past year and a half. The Lebanese villages at the border were completely destroyed. Every single building destroyed, wiped out. There's nothing left but rubble, and all of the people who used to live in these villages have been displaced to other cities in Lebanon. The city in the south, Tyre, in the recent war, when it got bad, a lot of it was destroyed. The Dahi, the Beirut southern suburb, is still to this day being completely destroyed. And I'm not gonna get into any of the resistance organizations. They like to tell you that they are terrorist organizations, but if you look at the history of when and why each one of these organizations was established, it was to resist Israel. Now, Trump, when he was running up for the elections, he said he wanted to stop funding wars across the ocean. And then he meets Zelensky and he applies what he wants to say. He kicks him out of the office because he's like, give us more money instead of, striving for peace. But then when he met with Netanyahu, what happened? He all of a sudden told Hamas to uh, completely ignore the agreements of the ceasefire, and then told them to immediately release all hostages, or he said in a tweet, there will be hell to pay. And then he becomes worse than Biden, and he sends even more weapons than the Biden administration sent to Israel. And now they're using it to completely wipe out Gaza. And even before that, he was claiming that he wanted to displace Gazans into Egypt and Jordan. Seriously, Donald Trump, we are not puppets that you could just move however you choose. This is our land, this is our home. We are not leaving. The Gazans were not leaving. And he was claiming, oh, Gaza isn't livable. There's so much destruction. We're just gonna displace them, fix it ourselves, and then they're gonna have better lives. They're not gonna want to return, right? No. During the ceasefire, it wasn't a lot of days, but the stuff that I saw on social media from the Gazans themselves, within days they started digging wells, cleaning up their houses. Life was being rebuilt by them very, very easily with the tiny amount of resources that there are. But right now, as we speak, Gazans don't have access to water, food, electricity, or internet. Gaza is being shut down away from the world. So, what do you take from this video? A. This war did not start on October 7, 2023. It started in 1948. B. If you have a platform, do not stay silent and speak up about this. The whole world needs to know the truth. This entire matter has to come to an end. Okay? Genocide is wrong no matter what you are. And number 3, if you can protest, go ahead and protest, and don't just sit in silence without doing anything. If there is a protest going on near where you live, go out there, pick up a sign, write Free Palestine on it, and then just go in the streets. Just protest. And the last thing is boycott all brands, if possible, that support Israel. As many brands as you can. If you can boycott, then boycott. And yeah, that's where I'm gonna end it. I hope this will do as much as this channel can in changing, your perspective on this war. It's not even a war if the other side can't even fight back. And yeah, I hope you people will open your eyes, stand on the right side of this war, and yeah, I will see you all in the next video.